think he's going to do the Zealots.
Just one zealot
I think he's
for
going to do what he did in game one, the Zealot Stalker stuff.
7 gate.
Yeah,
Hmm, that's interesting. Maybe he might do that.
I think he's going to do that. Or he's going to try to exploit that cannon position at the third of the Zerg base.
Oh, cannon the third.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be that's a little bit too risky for a game 7 though?
Dude, it's a free hatchery if you can get it. Like,
Yeah, if you can get it.
well, there's a
It's
spot where if you put a pylon and cannon,
yeah, it's basically walled in. Yeah.
yeah, like, and you're gonna get it unless the probe has got it. So like, either A, you get it, or B, you don't get it and you don't invest anything into it. So it's like it's like a no lose situation, a win-win, some might call it. But
Let's go ahead and introduce our players, Alex. We do have TSLHyun spawning as the red Zerg in the top right position of ESV Cloud Kingdom. They are both tied 2-2, excuse me, 3-3, and oGsVINES will be spawning as the yellow prOmise player in the bottom left position. prOmise versus Zerg, Cloud Kingdom. What do you think of this map, and who do you think has a little bit of an advantage coming into game number 7?
Vines chose the map, so I will comfortably give him an edge here. He has a game plan. He knows exactly what he's doing. We'll have to see if he force fast expands, if he goes for a very quick nexus. Gonna scout out the lack of gas from his opponent. And honestly, this could be a 45-minute back and forth game as well. Cloud Kingdom very receptive to that. It's so hard to get good engagements. The defender's always going to have a pretty huge advantage, especially on this map. They're always going to have that high ground advantage. But once you start getting to the 4th and 5th bases, that's when getting those expansions, it kind of starts getting dodgy. But we'll see, man. It should be great. I mean, game 7, this is it. It's essentially a best of 1 right here.
Absolutely, and if you look at Vines, it looks like he's going to open up Forge first. I really like that. He doesn't want to fall down to any kind of 6 pool, any kind of roachling, excuse me, any kind of early speedling. So he's going to get the Forge up. We'll be able to secure a few cannons as well as his Nexus. Very nice opening from Vines, and it looks like Hyun doing a very similar opening to the previous 3 games. He is going to get the natural hatchery at the 3rd, knowing that it's very easy for prOmise players to go ahead and block that natural expansion. So he's going to be up a base, possibly 2 if he does take the natural, which I'm very sure he's going to do. And with that being said, it looks like spawning pool is completed. We do see 2 lings are on the way. Nexus going down for oGsVINES, and the queen coming out from Hyun. So again, is it going to be the 3-base hatchery play? I would think so, but again, you can never underestimate the things that Hyun can do in this game.
Yeah, no gas is taken just yet, so I would expect him to go for that 3rd hatchery pretty quickly here. Meanwhile, Vines adding on the gateway and cannon. Very, very, very standard play. You're going to see 2 gases from the prOmise player pretty soon here. And there's the 3rd hatch right now. So yeah, very standard player. Very standard play, I should say, from both these 2 players. We'll have to see the chrono boost distribution for the prOmise player, and what he elects to use his gas on. Quick +1, quick Stargate. Does he get a 3rd gas? And then when, of course, does the Zerg player take his 3rd gas? But I think ultimately it's going to come down to, you know, the Zerg player denying the prOmise player his 3rd, and we'll have to see if Vines goes for that 2-base play that we've been alluding to.
I would think so. I mean, it's so easy to be able to pressure the 3rd once you're able to establish your natural, as well as, you know, the mobility blink gives you with the stalkers. You're really able to deny the 3rd, possibly even flat out kill it, which is what I'm thinking Vines is going to do, to be honest. I mean, I think I might be wrong, but I'm 80% sure that he's going to do that, so let's not put myself to shame. But with that being said, it looks like the natural almost completed here for Hyun. Production tab does show 5 additional drones on the way. A queen also going to get started at the 3rd, and Vines is going to be up with his natural expansion, which is just completed. It looks like he's going to get +1, so maybe he's going to go for additional gateways. He does have the cyber core down. Warp gate should get started soon, and I'm curious to know, is he going to take the gases at his natural, or is he going to stick to these 2 gases in the main?
We'll see. I'm also keeping a close eye on the probes in the main base. Are they going to stay on gas, or he's going to return them to the minerals so he can get more minerals out for a bunch of gateways? And there we go. Warp gate being chrono boosted. The forge periodically being chrono boosted as well. There is a probe on the map, which there's been a lack of that recently for Vines. I've always been worried. I'm like, hey, why don't you have a probe on the map, man? But finally does get that on the map. Stalker coming forward as well to try to protect that probe. And an additional gas going down at his natural expansion. Probe staying on gas in his main. Looks like Okay, adding on gateways. I was going to say it might be Stargate, but he's going for, looks like a 4 or 5 gate here.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure I agree with Vines. He doesn't have his whole base walled off here at the natural. That actually might be a little bit of a mistake. I think Hyun actually has vision of this. I don't know if he sees a building under the gateway, but he could easily run through if he made a whole bunch of lings. But behind that, it looks like Hyun will throw down a Roach Warren. Gonna continue making drones. If I take a quick look at the harvester count, we can see 40 drones are up for Hyun, 40 for Vines, so Vine's doing a really nice job. Production tab does show 3 gateways coming up, and what additional buildings is Vine's gonna throw down? He is gonna throw down a robotics facility.
Yep.
So maybe I was wrong.
It looked like he was either A, trying to fake aggression, trying to get Hyun to act scared, or B, he was really like wholeheartedly going for some aggression, but Hyun was able to spot it out, and once that happened, he decided to transition away from it. But that being said, Hyun is in like such a good situation here. He's so many drones, he's going to keep droning up, I would imagine, now that he's fended off this potential aggression. And again, if you're not able to get any pressure down on your opponent, they can just drone up all day. They can drone up all day long, and you can't do anything about it. But robotic facility on the field, does he go for immortals? Does he go for quick colossi? The important thing here is making sure he can secure his third and getting the appropriate Unicom position out to be able to do so.
Yeah, it definitely seems like his sort of plan for getting the robotics facilities is going to get the Observer, going to get the Immortals, secure a third expansion, which is similar to what he did on Daybreak. Just didn't work out too good for him because Hyun is pretty much doing the same thing. He is getting a very early Roach Warren. He does have his Evolution Chamber up, missile attacks level 1 on the way as well. Also getting Glial Reconstitution, so he's going to have Roach Speed super fast, sitting on a really nice drone count, 59 drones. And, you know, Hyun is looking really good. He actually might be able to go for that very heavy Roachling play, deny the third of Vines. And the problem here is Vines only has 4 gateways. He is getting very, very quick Colossus, Robotics Bay, about 80% completed. Immortal popping out, so not getting supply blocked in the recent game. And, you know, this is all going to come down the force field, to be honest. If Hyun goes into the third, Vines needs to defend this absolutely superb with the force field. And the Lings are going to come in from 2 angles. No. Oh my god. Sentries are going to force field. Immortal's going to go down. That is huge because this is going to be followed up by 8 Roaches. Sentries are actually doing a decent job. Zealots are going to help out as well. So Vines holds, loses the Immortal, but man, Colossus on the way, and Hyun going to follow it up with 8 additional Roaches.
That was such a good trade from Hyun there. It's such a good trade. Trading Lings for an Immortal and a couple Sentries. And a lot of those force fields used, draining the energy from those Sentries. And now following it up with a bunch of Roaches here, and a Colossus is coming out. But honestly, I'd rather have an Immortal than a Colossi here against all these Roaches, to be completely honest. Vine's going to try to segment away this army with those force fields, but I don't know, man. I think Hyun is in such a good situation here. He can just multi-prong harass the entire time here, and he can even drone up behind it in tech. But right now, he's going to focus on taking down that third.
Yeah, the thing that Vines has for him is he does have a second Colossus in production, so when he gets up to 2 Colossus, he's going to be able to hold out the Roach. He's trying to focus down the Colossus. Nice micro by Vines, will pull away. Force field's going down, gonna trap about 3 Roaches. So, you know, Hyun putting on the aggression, but, you know, not to take credit away from Vines. He is doing a really, really good job at defending this. Continue to warp in additional units, getting the second Colossus, which just pops out. And behind this, looks like Hyun gonna follow it up with Spire, so we are gonna see that Roach into Muta transition. And what do you think about that tech switch coming out from Hyun?
I wish he would have committed more into killing this third. I think he could have killed it. You know, again, focusing on splitting up his army, sending Roaches into the natural, sending Roaches at the third. But he's droning up behind this, so he's playing this really safe. He's okay with his opponent getting a third, which I don't necessarily agree with. When a prOmise gets a third like this fast, when you do so much damage with your early Lings, and you have a bunch of Roaches on the field, and you're investing a lot into Ling Roach, when you could have been droning a lot earlier, that's not necessarily a good thing. So I feel like Hyun invested a lot into this early aggression, but didn't quite pay for the amount of investment that he put into it. That being said, though, behind this, putting down a fourth really fast, adding on those gases, and look at that. He's going to be approaching, he's going to be getting to 1,000. So he's going to make a bunch of mutas, and you ask me, is this good, is this bad? If he can do damage with these mutas, it's going to be good. Of course, that's the easy way out. Anyone can say that, but that's what it comes down to. Honestly, if you don't do any damage with your mutas, and you invest a bunch of money in a gas into them, you know, that's not a good situation at all. So Hyun has to do a lot of damage with these mutas.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, and it looks like there is a Immortal coming out as well. Blink gonna get started, so maybe Vines has a little bit of an idea that this Roach Muta switch it's very common in ZVP now. So he's gonna get Blink. Looks like he's also getting his upgrades for prOmise armor level 1. So interesting decision there. And +2, excuse me. Yeah,
it has to be a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that's for.
Maybe he was trying to get hallucinate. That's the only thing I can think of. What else out of the Cybercore do you want? I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely a mistake.
Unless he thinks Colossi are air units.
Well, I mean, they kind of look like they're air units, but they're really not.
And they can climb up cliffs and stuff. But yeah, here we go. Muta's on the way, and Hyun has a crazy amount of bases, adding on a bunch of Spine Crawlers. That's exactly what he has to do. Adding another hatchery in the lower right-hand side of the map. But here the flock comes, and is Vines prepared for this? Blink is on the way, has cannon. Look at the cannons as natural. Already has 3 cannons there. Adding, I thought he was adding some of his main, but not quite yet. But again, reacting to this pretty nicely. Mutas aren't going to be able to do that much damage right now.
Yeah, he has like no kind of scouting information in the main, so he had no idea these mutas were coming out. So that's just a beautiful read in the metagame, knowing that roaches are usually followed up by mutas later in the match. And that looks like 95 drones up for Hyun. Oh my god, that is so many drones.
Whoa, really?
Gonna completely spine out. Wow. Yeah, 95. It looks like he's gonna completely spine out his 4th as well. Even gonna take a 5th here in the bottom right position. Mutas are gonna try to come in. That is actually a large amount of mutas. 17 mutas out for Hyun. Gonna take out 1 cannon. Blink is almost completed, I believe. Blink is already completed, so he could have blinked in. But with that being said, it looks like Hyun gonna follow this up with an additional Spire. So like the game on Shakira's Plateau, it looks like he's gonna go very heavy upgrades with these mutas, throwing down an infestation pit, getting 16 additional drones, and 121, man. I think it's a little bit overkill.
This is 121 harvesters?
Yeah.
121 harvesters. 121 harvesters. Oh my god, that's so many harvesters. And he's building a billion spine crawlers here. I've never seen that many harvesters in a game of StarCraft 2. At a professional game. Of course, I've played against the easy AI and made about 200 drones, but that's another story. Vines is a huge army here. This is such a weird game. This is such a weird game. That's all I gotta say, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing Vines is going to do right now is just try to move across the map, really trying to limit these muta numbers. Looks like he might even move into the 5th expansion, but just look at the spine crawlers. Hyun is just turtling as hard as possible. Is he going to go to Broodlords? I don't think he has a hive on the map yet. He's still on layer tech, even making more spine crawlers here at the natural. So he's just going to turtle it up all the way. Mutas are going to go for a counterattack into the main, and this actually might be a base trade situation, but the muta count is just not high enough for Hyun to be successful in this base trade. The 5th is going to go down here for Hyun. There's just way too many Stalkers, 2-1 upgrades, 3 Colossus, and these Immortals are doing significant damage. 3 Immortals in this composition. And you know what? This is sort of looking like that game we saw in Metropolis where they just go for a counterattack. And Vine's going to move up the ramp. I don't know if that's the best decision, but there's a lot of mutas right now into the natural. 27 mutas. Blink is completed as a long time ago. I don't know why I would even say that. He's going to blink into the natural. And Hyun, man. Hyun is not in a good position at all, to be honest.
Yeah. Over droning, 121 drones. I still can't wrap my mind around that.
Well, he's at 85 now.
Yeah, well, yeah. He made a bunch of spine crawlers and lost them all. But yeah, Vine's in a great situation. Hyun not able to do enough damage with these mutas with the counterattacks. Vine's doing a good job making High Templar back home. A lot of Blink Stalkers there as well to deal with the counterattacks. And Vine's just going to continue forward. And Hyun, he's running out of real estate. He's running out of bases. Shuri has about 70 spine crawlers outside of his natural expansion. Actually has about 10, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, that's just look at the army of Vines. It's way too strong compared to what Hyun has. 162 supply. Vines is basically maxed 198 supply. Looks like he's going to make more mutas, 5 more mutas, even getting flyer level attacks too, as well as his armor for the mutas. He's currently on 1-1, just going to help him a little bit, but the superior upgrades are going to have to go to Vines. Vines moving into the national right now, quickly going to take work of these spine crawlers, and no matter where you engage this army, I'm not too sure, man. It doesn't seem like Hyun is going to be able to do a lot of damage, but oh my god, actually, it seems like he has a lot of mutas. Wow, this actually might go in the favor of Hyun, and moving in the spine crawlers, Hyun might actually be able to clean the Stalkers, but more reinforcements coming in. Blinking forward is Vines. Vines takes out so many of the mutas of Hyun. Drones being pulled off the natural, and Vines might have actually done it, and GG gets called. TSLHyun goes down in game number 7 to oGsVINES. So we have a winner, man. $100 goes to oGsVINES, taking the series 4-3. congratulations to Vines, and those are some very exciting games.
That was fantastic. That was a great best of 7, and I'm so happy it went to 7 games. But yeah, about that game, Hyun was feeling really comfortable, maybe a little bit too comfortable. 100 and what did we say? 121.
121 drones.
Golly, I still can't. I can't, like, you know how, like, if you try to picture infinity, you can't, like, it's hard to do because you can't, like, see that much. Obviously, it's like 121. I can't even imagine that many drones in my head right now. That's so many. And then Vines just hit at the perfect time. He protected his mineral lines with blink stalkers and cannons, was able to move out with this force of colossi and stalkers, hit before the spine crawlers could finish. And Cloud Kingdom, like, it's not like Shakuras. It's not like you can put a bunch of spines in one location and defend all your bases. You can't do that on Cloud Kingdom. There's so many different places the prOmise player can attack. The bases are so spread out apart from each other. You have to have like 30 individual spine crawlers at each location if you want to be completely safe. And of course, I guess you would need 121 drones to do that. So I like the idea from Hyun. It's just maybe a little bit unlucky that Vines was able to push out when he did. But again, I think it all goes back down to that third that got up pretty darn fast from Vines. Hyun did some great work with those speedlings, got some surrounds, killed some sentries, made a lot of force fields be spent, killed an immortal, and then followed it up with like kind of a 30% effort with the next push while teching and while making 121 drones. So if I was to say, if I were to be like, Hyun, this is what you should have done differently, just go for the win right there, man. After you kill the sentries, after you kill the immortal, after you make the sentries use all that energy, just go for the kill right there, and don't go to 121 drones. That's too many.
And you know, to give credit to Vines as well, he really made 3-base prOtoss work against Zerg, going the Roach Ling heavy playoff 3-base, of course, for Zerg. So if you're having problems against heavy Roach Ling, watch these VODs, see exactly what decision making Vines does, why he goes for the robotics facility, of course, for the immortals. He also gets a few cannons at the third, so he can defend this. And pretty much if your Zerg opponent is throwing roaches and lings at you and it doesn't work, they're going to be so far behind because they don't really have an economy to fall back on. They've invested so much into these units, and you're just going to have that much more of an economic advantage. So with that being said, Vines is going to win the $100 for this week. Make sure you tune in next week, which is going to be a Tuesday, same time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to have 2 additional players. And guys, please do follow us on Twitter, Axeltoss, at Axeltoss, and follow me as well, at SC2 prOmise. You pretty much get to know when we go live, any kind of show matches, any kind of casts we may do in the future. All you guys are going to get basically the first dibs to check us out. So again, thank you, Axel, for casting, and I hope you guys enjoyed the matches.
Yeah, it was great. The VODs will be up on my YouTube channel probably tomorrow, if I get around to it, maybe the next day. I've also been uploading games from the Lone Star Clash, and I've also been working on tutorial videos for my YouTube channel. I've been analyzing my own replays and saying, you know, the logic behind everything I'm doing. And today I put up a video on defending the 111 in PvT, so definitely check that out if you want. That being said, though, anything else you want to throw out there?
No, just post feedback. I mean, post feedback in the TNS thread, which is on Team Liquid. Let us know how we did. Let us know how I did. What we can improve. What we did good. What we can do better. Things to look for in the future. Who you want to see in the show matches. Tweet at us. Post. Let us know. This is really all for the community. Really trying to provide the best matches possible for you guys. And this week was really, really successful. oGsVINES against TSLHyun. Seems like a final of a tournament to me, so I was very, very honored to have these players play, and hopefully we'll have that much of calibered players in the future weeks. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much, and I guess we're wrapped up.
Yep, tune in next week. See you guys.